My review is in for the Pleasure Beach 2025 season. Are the park back on top, or has it been another ridiculous rumours flop? The legs are up as Aviktas has gone erect, and oh boy, that pole looks gorgeous. And there's now a real taste of what's to come for 2026, with event announcements piling on in. Hello Pleasure Beach fans, and welcome to your December edition of Pleasure Beach Roundup, your monthly dose of all the latest news and updates surrounding your favourite theme park. The Pleasure Beach season has now ended, but even so, there's still a lot to talk about. Now, this video is actually going to be split into two parts. It's going to be a little bit different than November's edition. We're going to start off like last time, going through all the news that's come up over the past few weeks. And then in the second half of the video, I'm going to speak a little bit more freely, giving my review, my season review specifically, of the 2025 season. How has the park done in my eyes? I know I did this to some extent in my closing day vlog, but this version is going to be much more in-depth and coherent. But that's enough waffling. Let's jump straight in with all the news surrounding ride availability. Now, obviously Pleasure Beach Resort is now closed, which includes the amusement park, so no rides are actually open at the moment, unless you count Alice, which is open for the Christmas Grotto event, as I'll get onto later. But yeah, unfortunately now, Blackpool Pleasure Beach, Passage del Terra, the Adventure Golf and Ripley's Believe It or Not are all now closed for 2025. Now, in terms of the park's opening dates and times for next year, as of recording, the website only lists opening days and times up until the end of June, so the first half of the season really. But the park opens on Saturday the 14th of February throughout February half term until Sunday the 22nd for the Nickelodeon Land only days that were introduced for this year. And yeah, they're returning for another season, which is great to see. And tickets are again priced at £25 per person. There's not been an increase on the price or anything. So yes, those of you who are coaster enthusiasts can get yourselves some early rides on Nickelodeon Streak and Blue Flyer to get yourselves warmed up for the main 2026 season. Speaking of which, following Sunday the 22nd, the park actually has another complete shutdown up until Saturday the 7th of March, and that is when it reopens for the White Knuckle weekends, where the park is open from 11 AM till 5 PM on weekends throughout March. And then the park opens daily for the main season from Wednesday the 1st of April, where the park is open from 10 AM till 5 PM, with the exception of Twilight Thrills and late night riding events. More on that in a minute. Now, this is excluding a selection of closed weekdays during off-peak times, with the park closed on Monday and Tuesday throughout April and May, with the exception of the Easter holidays, May bank holiday and May half-term periods. Now, there are no late night riding event dates listed on the website yet. Obviously the calendar goes only up until the end of June, so we can assume once again that all the late night riding events are going to be from July onwards. Those are obviously when the park is open from 10 AM till 10 PM, with fireworks taking place at 10 PM, so half the park has to close at 9 PM unfortunately for those to take place, but you'll be getting on the likes of Grand National and stuff on North Park till 10 PM at night. However, there are currently 2 Twilight Thrills events listed on the calendar, and those are where park close is extended until 9 PM, and there's often numerous additional sort of live entertainment on offer in the FI4 area and or the hub area as well, with these being Saturday the 4th of April and Saturday the 23rd of May. So again, very similar to what we saw in 2025. I imagine by the looks of things, the late close calendar is going to be looking pretty much identical to what we've seen before. Tickets for every day from the 7th of March are currently priced at £35 per person, with the Nickelodeon Land only tickets returning for 2026 and priced at £25, which is the same price as they are during a February half-term event as well, when that's your only real option for park admission. And then obviously the non-rider tickets, as far as I'm aware, are also going to be available for £20. They may well have some price changes, they may not. Speaking of price changes, please remember that both prices and opening times can and likely will change, so ensure you refer to the opening times and prices page on the Pleasure Beach website for the most up-to-date information, and a link to that will be provided in the description of this video. Also, don't forget about Passage del Terra, the UK's longest running scare attraction, which is located just outside the main park in the basement of the casino building. Passage reopens from the 7th of March and subsequently follows the park's operating calendar until the end of the season. As of recording, tickets cost £13.50 if booked at least 1 day in advance on the website, or £15 on the door. Passage is a severely underrated scare attraction that I highly recommend experiencing, so be sure to check out the dedicated review videos on my channel for more information. And once again, keep an eye on the website for any potential changes to prices and opening times. Regarding Adventure Golf and Ripley's Believe It or Not, 2026 opening times and prices haven't been released for these as of yet, but I'll be sure to update you in a future edition of Pleasure Beach Roundup once we have more information. And switching up the ordering of these segments a little bit from last month's edition of Pleasure Beach Roundup, we're going to jump straight in now to the Aviktas news, which has obviously been pretty prominent over the past month, as Aviktas has gone vertical with the main support structure, aka the legs.
That's the end of our video today. The legs are up.
And the giant golden swinging pole, pendulum, boom arm, whatever you want to call it, now fully erect. Furthermore, as highlighted in the previous episode of this series, the park held an Uncovering Aviktas event for Pleasure Beach fan club members. And for those who aren't aware, the Pleasure Beach fan club is essentially a free-to-join group for fans of the park that hosts paid behind-the-scenes events a couple of times a year. The event wasn't quite as extravagant as I anticipated in the previous episode, so there was no one there from Intamin doing a Q&A or any of the other crazy suggestions I made, but as suspected, attendees did get to go onto the construction site and see components of the ride up close, including getting a first look at the ride's seats and restraints, obviously confirming that these have now arrived. And they also received a little bonus tour of Wallace and Gromit's Thrill-O-Matic as well. While this event was taking place, we also actually received confirmation that the ride is set for a spring opening, and received the teaser of what I assume is going to be a set piece that is going to sit on the top of the structure. Obviously, Aviktas is themed around snakes, and this set piece is a giant golden snake, so it makes sense to put that on the top of the structure. I think it'd look really cool, and it'd go very well with the golden pendulum that's obviously right underneath. But most excitingly of all, we've also received confirmation in the past week that the park planned to host an Aviktas VIP preview event, very similar to the one held prior to the opening of the park's current newest ride, Icon, in 2018. Now, to find out more about this, you could go and watch the dedicated video I uploaded when the announcement first came out, but to sum it up for you, nothing beats an Aviktas holiday, and right now you can be one of the first to ride this colossal gyro swing for just £50 per person. That's £200 for a family of 4. Soar on a swinging pole up to a jaw-dropping 138 foot and receive a complimentary certificate and keepsakes. Aviktas holidays, swinging holidays that you can trust. I promise I'll never do that again. With confirmation that the ride is opening in spring, I think we can probably expect it to open in May time, and therefore the event to be in late April. So hopefully we only have, 6-7 months wait until we can ride this incredible new attraction. It's probably more like 5 to 6 months, to be honest, if we do the maths correctly. Anyways, moving swiftly on to the shows and events news. And despite this being a pretty action-packed segment last month, yet again, we do actually have a couple of exciting announcements here still. First of all, new for 2026, the park have released an All the Experiences Combi package, which for a price of £500 grants you access to all the 2026 behind-the-scenes and coast-to-climb experiences, including Walk the Big One XL, Walk the Woody, the behind-the-scenes park-wide tour, and Valhalla the Walk Beyond, therefore confirming that all these experiences are set to return next year. Now, while this may seem absolutely extortionate, when you actually add up all the prices of these experiences, I mean the Valhalla experience alone was £250 this year, this actually works out quite good value for money. And also, just to add as well, I'm really happy that the park are bringing back all these experiences, because they all just go down really, really well with everyone, like 10 out of 10 reviews. Now, we have actually got a brand new event to discuss, and it's a bit of an interesting one, as despite it literally being just around the corner at the time of recording, it's only actually just been added to the website. But the BIDCA Aladdin and Enchanted Tale on Ice is a children's Christmas ice show that brings the story of Aladdin to life in the Pleasure Beach Arena, and it's going to be running on select dates from the 6th to the 26th of December, with tickets priced from £10 per person. And 2026 dates for the Evolution of Magic, featuring magician and illusionist Craig Christian and Elizabeth Best, as seen on Britain's Got Talent. That show is garbage, by the way, have been announced. The iconic magic show returns on select dates from the 14th of February to the 29th of August, with tickets priced from £14 per person. Now, children still have time to experience the Christmas Grotto Wonderland event, which is running up until the 24th of December, with tickets priced from £17.99 per child, and including 2 accompanying adults. The event gives children the opportunity to meet Santa, grab a cheeky present out of his sack, if they've been good of course, explore a winter wonderland walkthrough, and take a one-shot ride down the rabbit hole on Alice in Wonderland. And the same applies for Cinderella the Pantomime, which is running until the 24th of December, with tickets priced from £15 per person. Now, Christmas parties aren't my thing at all, but for those who like that sort of thing, Pleasure Beach will be hosting Gatsby Christmas party nights in the Paradise Room in the casino building outside the park from the 5th to the 20th of December, with ticket prices from £25 per person. And that brings us on nicely to the Pleasure Beach shopping update. Now, with Black Friday having just gone, it has been a busy time for the department, who ran a 25% off everything they have on offer sale. I mean, that is pretty incredible, right? I'd love to hear down in the comments below if you've managed to pick up any bargains. However, with Christmas just around the corner, it's still full steam ahead, with the team having just dropped their winter line of merch, including an array of festive items. Notable releases include new Wallace & Gromit heatable warmies, Pleasure Beach themed baubles, and Mr. Funshine Christmas jumpers, with the fan favourite 3D models also back in stock. And don't forget, while the park may be closed, the Pleasure Beach store, located in the casino building, does open on select dates during the closed season, or failing that, you can make purchases online via the Pleasure Beach shopping website. Oh, and don't forget to sign up to the mailing list for exclusive offers and discounts. And wrapping up the news section of this video with other news, I should probably tell you, it was confirmed at a recent behind-the-scenes park-wide tour that Red Arrow Skyforce has been put up for sale, and therefore will be leaving the park. Shout out to Airtime Rush on Facebook for the update on this one. I believe it was Andy Highgate, the park's operations manager, who dropped this news. With Skyforce being one of the 5 rides confirmed to be remaining closed for the 2025 season in the statement released by the park back in February, but then subsequently being reassembled mid-season, many fans have remained curious as to whether or not we could ever see this attraction return, but it looks like we finally have a definitive answer. And it's an understandable one at the end of the day. As cool and unique an attraction as it was in essentially allowing riders to control their own ride gondola, being surrounded by so many other more extreme attractions, it was never able to draw in a real crowd or get people talking, and so it simply just isn't worth its operational cost. However, I'm sure it may well find a great home at a smaller park with fewer thrill rides, potentially even the nearby Adventure Coast Southport, which Pleasure Beach ironically did actually own back in the day. And there we have it, all the news and updates as of the start of December 2025. However, with the Pleasure Beach season having just ended, I think it's only right that I use this opportunity to give a bit of a full review of 2025. How has it gone? Well, before we get into that, I think it's best that I start off by giving a little bit of background of where the park has been in recent years. And we're going to rewind back to the start of 2024. Now, 2023 really wasn't a great year for Pleasure Beach, was it? I mean, The whole marketing surrounding Valhalla was a complete shambles. Its opening kept getting delayed, and then they didn't even announce an opening date for it in the end, which is really shocking because this was a massive reimagining project for the park. It's regarded as one of the best dark rides in the world, so there was so much hype about its major refurbishment. And that wasn't the only issue the park were facing back then. Visitor numbers weren't very good, and the financial situation in general as a whole wasn't good either, as we now know that over the 2023 to 2024 financial year, the park made a whopping loss of £2.7 million. Not to mention the fans were constantly giving the place a bashing online because of all the aforementioned issues, but eventually the park realised what the fans realised at the start of 2024. They knew they had to change something, and so we got a rebrand from Blackpool Pleasure Beach to what the park's name is now officially, Pleasure Beach Resort. And also it seems there was a lot of restructuring that went on as well, as I'll get into when I discuss how things have been this year, because 2024 certainly had its fair share of issues, didn't it? There was rides SB&O with no reasons given as to why. Operationally, the park was running a lot of rides on reduced capacity, ride availability went downhill, and then in terms of marketing in general, there was just no noise being made. However, this year, I'm pleased to say there's been so many positive changes. It's not a perfect park yet, Pleasure Beach, as I'll get onto, but they've made so many steps in the right direction, and a huge part of that is the marketing and communications team. We've clearly had some massive shuffle-ups in marketing. Immediately in February, when they knew that they were going to have 5 rides closed throughout 2025, they did a massive statement announcing that, and they also confirmed in that, you know, all the changes that were coming, they were teasing them, you know, surrounding the Grand National, which was obviously closed temporarily as well. And this was when they also confirmed that Wallace and Gromit was going to be getting some new scenes themed to the Vengeance Most Foul movie, which was obviously go on to be added in August. And then the closure of River Caves as well. We finally got an answer as to why that ride is SB&O, and it's because it's having a full reimagining. But besides that, marketing has also been so much better in terms of promoting upcoming events the parks are doing. Like literally, in the lead up to Twilight Thrills and late night riding dates, they've been putting out almost daily posts promoting these. And as a result, they've been absolutely rammed on the most part. They've been doing lots of promotional offers as well throughout the year, which we've barely seen any of in recent years. You know, things like 2 e-tickets for £50, 4 for £95. We've seen plenty of great marketing videos surrounding the new for 2026 edition, which is obviously going to be Aviktas. And again, that's a massive improvement, as back in the day, we didn't get anything. What did we get for Valhalla's reimagining? One very poorly shot promotional video a couple of months before it opens. Launchpad, there was a little bit of marketing, but it was still quite last minute. Whereas with Aviktas, literally they announced that they're going to be getting this new ride over a year before it'll open, because it was at the 2025 season launch event back in March. And then since then, every month or two, we've had a promotional video. And besides that, the marketing team have also just put out a lot of other random funny videos to just give people a laugh and promote the park and get across the message that it's a fun place to be. And the interaction with fans has been a lot better as well. Fans have been given so many opportunities to make their mark on the park, from being part of a theme park's first broadcast from space. Fans had the opportunity to essentially send some video messages that were played on this little iPad thing that was launched into space, and then also be part of messages that were buried in a time capsule on the Aviktas site before all the foundations got laid and the ride went vertical. Now, despite all of that, there are definitely some improvements that could still be made in marketing. One mess up they did this year was Launchpad's opening date. It was only actually announced 2 weeks around about before the ride officially opened, and then the date they did announce for its official opening was a Wednesday, and that just shows a complete lack of awareness in my eyes, because why have the grand opening of a ride when so many people are at work, including content creators who could promote it for you? And then as well with the Aviktas marketing and construction videos, yes, they've done a good job of these, however, they need to release the construction stuff faster, because they released the construction update of the legs going up, but then they didn't include the central swinging pole, which got put in literally 2 days later. So the video just got out of date so quickly. Like, they need to be on top of that and planning things properly. So for one, releasing stuff before fans of the park are releasing construction videos, because we weren't fast enough at all. Plenty has already got their construction updates out before they released anything. And they also need to make sure they're not getting outdated too quickly and have at least some of a shelf life. Other huge areas of improvement for the 2025 season have been surrounding ticketing, because we've had so many more ticketing options now. First of all, we saw the release of the non-riding season pass at the end of last season, giving people the chance for the first time since the pandemic to walk around Pleasure Beach freely for a reduced fee. Now, this season pass hasn't actually returned for 2026, presumably due to poor intake. However, there's still other non-rider ticketing options, as I'll get onto. What we now have, though, is a Nickelodeon Land season pass, which essentially grants you access to all the rides in Nickelodeon Land for the entire season for a price of £99, and a new season pass known as the FY Resident Gold season pass, which is only applicable to those with FY postcodes, so those in the Blackpool and Fylde area, but it gives you, for £99, the opportunity to ride all rides on every day except Saturdays within the 2026 season. And then, of course, we have the return of the Platinum Season Pass for £180, which includes daily access to all the rides at Pleasure Beach, including Saturdays, as well as 1 day admission to 7 European parks. But that's not all. In terms of daily tickets, we've seen the introduction of a Nickelodeon Land only tickets for 2025 for this price of £25, and also the return of the non-rider ticket, again for the first time since pre-COVID, giving you the opportunity to walk around the park for a reduced price. We've also finally seen the park listen to the feedback surrounding lower ticketing prices, because many people regarded the prices for e-tickets as being too high in previous years. So now the full park e-tickets, if you book online in advance, are pretty consistently priced around the £35 mark, whereas before they could often be sort of £40 to £45. And overall, this has really paid off. The park has been notably considerably busier this year than in the past few years. You know, giving people those additional options with ticketing, it gives people so much more flexibility. They're not having to pay extortionate prices for, you know, their children who might only want to go on some of the smaller attractions. They can just get Nickelodeon Land tickets for them for a reduced price. And say the kids are coming with the grandparents who don't want to do any rides, again, they get their tickets for a reduced price just to walk around. Don't get me wrong, I can tell you now, the Nickelodeon Land ticket has worked wonders for the park, because that area, regardless of how busy the park has just been consistently busy. Even so, I feel like £25 is a bit steep when literally for £10 more, you could get access to so many more attractions, including other smaller rides that some children might want to do, such as Alice, the Ghost Train, Wallace and Gromit. So I think £15 to £20 is better value for money for that ticket, really. And as for the non-rider ticket, £20 is way too expensive in my eyes. You know, for what it's worth, you know, grandparents, they'd be fine on some of the smaller rides in Nickelodeon Land, so they might as well just pay the extra £5 to do them. Really, it should be £10 maximum for a ticket to walk around the park in my eyes. What can I say about ride availability and operations this season? Unfortunately, this is where this review is going to get a little bit negative, because apart from the greater transparency surrounding the rides that have been SPO, we haven't really seen any improvements for this year over last year. Reduced capacity on so many rides, Pleasure Beach Express running less carriages than it has done in years gone by, resulting in it often being difficult to get a seat on there. Big Dipper being on one train when prior to 2024 it would run 2 trains consistently in the main season. Grand National never running 4 trains, only ever running 2 trains on the circuit. It's been staggered ride openings and closures galore. I mean, where do we start? Valhalla opening at 2 PM every day this season and 3 PM during winter weekends. Steeplechase only ever opening at 12 PM, and even then rides would frequently open later than advertised. And despite the overall better communication from the marketing team regarding closed rides, there's been some weird unexpected closures at certain points this year as well. Krusty Krab, the little drop tower in Nickelodeon Land, that opened late this season for no explained reason. The Dodgems have been closed all year with no reason given. They were not on the 5 rides listed that were meant to be closed all this season. All the early ride closures during winter weekends, despite tickets being priced the same as for the rest of the season. Now, in their defence, we know from the data that was released surrounding their £2.7 million loss in the 2023 to 2024 financial year, operating costs were a big contributor of that. So it's clear that all these cutbacks are being made to save money. At the end of the day, queues, regardless of all of that, have been still an acceptable length. And you're taking into account as well, the park's been busier this year than in recent years. On average, you're looking at just over an hour on the very, very busiest of days. Normally speaking, you're looking at about half an hour a lot of the time for rides at Pleasure Beach in terms of queue lengths. And I've overheard guests say as well that they feel for what you're paying, Pleasure Beach is really good value for money. You get on more rides than at a park like Alton Towers that gets bigger crowds, and that place has its capacity issues as well, and it's frequent in some of the Alton Towers gets 2-hour queues, but you don't get that in Pleasure Beach. So really, it's easy for us enthusiasts to moan and groan, but I think the park have made the right decision in terms of what they're doing with the operations at the moment, as much as they can be a little bit inconvenient at times. Now, shows and events have always been a strong point of the Pleasure Beach. However, we've seen even more experimentation this year, starting off with the Nickelodeon Land Only days in February half term, which is the first time we've seen February openings since pre-COVID. Also, we've seen Doggy Sundays come in this year, where people have had the opportunity on Sundays throughout summer and throughout the rest of the season to bring their dogs on park for an additional fee of £10. And we've seen a few new exclusive experience events come in this year as well, including the behind the scenes park-wide tours and the Valhalla The Walk Beyond behind the scenes tour of Valhalla, both of which have gone down really well. And recently, we've seen the announcement of obviously the Aviktas VIP ride preview event. The park obviously showing that they've not forgotten about the times back in 2018 when they did the Icon VIP ride preview event, which just went down so well. Besides that, we've seen all offerings from previous years return, including shows in the Globe, Hot Ice, Journey to Hell Freak Nights, Pleasure Beach Fan Club event, and the Walk the Woody and Walk the Big One and Walk the Big One XL coaster climbs. Events have always been great at Pleasure Beach, but this year they've just stepped it up once again. We've never had a more diverse range of special events for fans of the park, and there really is just something for everyone now, regardless of whether you're a coaster nerd, a thrill seeker, or a fan of sit-down shows. My only real criticism here is that the Journey to Hell Halloween event, and you'll know what I'm about to say if you've seen the vlog or the previous episode in this series, it really just drastically needs improving, as it simply just doesn't meet the standards of everything else the park is already doing and what they should be striving towards. Obviously, check out my Journey to Hell vlog for a more in-depth discussion on what I think can be improved. We've also seen a great increase in activity in terms of park investments, which is great to see, as continued investment in theme parks is needed to keep people flooding through the gates. Obviously, 2025 saw the opening of Launchpad, the reimagining of the Ice Blast Shot Tower rides, and next year is going to see the opening of Aviktas, which is going to be the first new ride at the park in 8 years. And we've also had hints of plans already in the works for other areas of the park. That was teased by Andy Highgate on one of the behind the scenes tours again last Wednesday. Now, obviously, it's no secret that Pleasure Beach aren't in the best financial situation at the moment, so where is all this money suddenly coming from for these new investments? I think it's safe to say that they're taking out loans for these, which is a little bit worrying, obviously, because loans need to be paid back somehow eventually. So, you know, the long-term future of the park, I am still a little bit worried about. However, as I said, investments needed to get people through the doors, which is needed to make money. So they've got no choice. If they choose not to invest, the visitor numbers are just going to keep dropping and they're going to have to close the doors entirely. If they choose to invest, yes, there's a risk, but if they are successful in getting people in the park, then hopefully they make enough money to pay back these loans eventually. Now, I couldn't do a review of the 2025 season without giving a shout out to the Pleasure Beach shopping team, as was the case in 2024, and I think it was 2023 where they kind of split off from the main park and formed a dedicated department. Great merch with great marketing. Special shout out to Ben, who is one of mine, and Josh from Theme Park Mad's friends who works as part of Pleasure Beach Shopping. They're always doing deals, you know, constantly releasing new seasonal merch throughout the year, and the literal marketing machines constantly, you know, the slightest bit of new merch comes out or gets restocked, they'll do some marketing stunt about it and get people talking. Only thing I think they could improve on is we want to see more resins. Resins are my favourite kind of merch ever. I'm not talking about these plastic ride models they release. I'm talking like proper clay models like what the Merlin parks do. But overall, 2025 has been a great step up for the Pleasure Beach. A huge step in the right direction. No, the park isn't a perfect place to be yet. There's still a way to go. However, they are certainly moving in none other than the right direction, and it's really promising to see as well that all departments, especially marketing, are listening more to the fans and guest feedback, especially with things such as the different ticketing options, the non-rider tickets. This year, there's so much more optimism and joy around the place, and that's especially evident when you interact with the staff. Staff friendliness has drastically improved, their just overall morale has improved as well, and overall you can tell that they're proud to be working where they work now. But well done, Pleasure Beach, you've absolutely smashed it in 2025, and I cannot wait to return in 2026 for both your 130th anniversary and the opening of Aviktas. And if you're as excited as I am and you can't get enough Pleasure Beach content, go and check out my closing day vlog on the right side of your screen. Click the icon on the left side of your screen to subscribe to ThrillNet for more things theme park related in the UK and beyond. I'm Ben, you've been watching ThrillNet, and I'll catch you again soon.